cost somebody, bro. So when you talk to somebody's a bad businessman or whatever it is, to me, it's like, and it's not even defending Trump and Elon. I don't give a about them. This is me saying people like that have to be stopped.
They're telling us that, oh, no, we're going to run the federal government like a business. Well, let me talk to you about the people that are allegedly running this business, because the federal government ain't a business. But let me clarify. If it was, I don't want it run like the president has run businesses. The president, it's my understanding, has filed bankruptcy 6 times. We don't have that luxury in the United States of America. But even when we start to think about Elon Musk, right now, as it relates to Tesla, the sales are down. As it relates to X, he has never made a profit since he bought X. In fact, the value of X is 75% lower than it has ever been. So if I am going to go look for somebody to run a business, I'm going to look for someone who is going to run one successfully. And before people start screaming and yelling about, well, he's a billionaire. Yeah, when you know the right people and they'll just give you money, then you can become a billionaire too. And maybe one day all of us will have that kind of access. But until then,
shit like this got to stop. Like, you got someone who ain't never built a business at all, calling people who made billions building businesses bad businessmen. Like, does that even, like, it's like we got someone, like, it's the problem with the music business. You got artists saying labels shouldn't. How the fuck do you know what it costs? You know what we got to start talking about more? The cost of business. We all talk about business, but we never talk about the cost of the shit. We never talk about the overhead, the lights, the fucking mic. All this shit costs somebody, bro. So when you talk to somebody's a bad businessman or whatever it is, to me, it's like, and it's not even defending Trump and Elon. I don't give a fuck about them. This is me saying people like that have to be stopped. Stop. Like, if you haven't, I built a business and made millions of dollars. If I didn't get out the bed all 2024, I would have still made about 350 to 400K from my publishing catalog.
That ain't bad.
And that's mine. That's not including people I manage who I'm gonna make money off your stuff too. But it is a good business, but it ain't my purpose. That shit is hard as fuck. And what they don't tell you is you win 10% of the time and you lose 90. That's why nobody will call a nigga that won a bad businessman. Nobody that has tried will call someone who's actually done it a bad businessman, because they know how hard it is.
Did a lot of work with Donald, and I can tell you he is the best salesman I've ever met in my life. I watched him walk into a situation, for example, selling the Plaza Hotel to the Chinese out of Hong Kong, it was in Taiwan, group of Asians, wealthiest families in Hong Kong, and they were there because they were interested in the Plaza Hotel. And I was the broker, or my brokers, we were all at the table, and we were like really hungry to make this deal. And I watched him totally not pitch the Plaza Hotel, bury it, and talk about the land masses on the Hudson River and the buildings that would be there. They were not the least bit interested. They just wanted to buy the Plaza Hotel. Like a customer, I want to buy it, and Donald was near bankruptcy, really needed the money to bail out. And I watched him. I thought he was so off. He wasn't. They bought the land and built all those towers on the West River as we know it today. You know, all those Trump towers along the river. That was the deal. How did he do that? I'll tell you what his masterful mind does. He is a genius at picking out the vulnerability of someone's personality. He can smell it, sense it, and trust it.
That's why when I spoke about Floyd, I love that nigga. I respect, he's great. his soul is just different. His soul is just not like mine. But as far as his greatness, I love it. So when you hear people like that, it's like, to me, that has to be stopped. As a black man, stop doing that shit. He's a bad businessman. What the fuck have you built? This nigga Elon built PayPal.
Elon Musk had what's called the PayPal mafia. It was like 12 other smart people. So when he made his first 100 million with PayPal, he was surrounded by 12 geniuses. 2 of them went on to become the co-founders of YouTube. 1 of them went on to be the founder of LinkedIn. 2 of them became the co-founders of the first or second largest venture capital fund in the world. He was surrounded by geniuses. So we have this myth that one person who's smart just sits in a room and comes up with all these good ideas and they just work in silence and all bullshit. So my point is, I don't find evidence for what a lot of people think. No tie, you don't need books, you don't need mentors, you go out and do it on your own and you'll get all the good ideas yourself. Well, you're gonna lose.
Stop that. Built Tesla, built SpaceX, and now he's in the White House running shit with Donald Trump, who you also think is a bad businessman. Somebody got to believe in him.
In merchandising the apartments in Trump Tower, he would plant articles in the newspaper suggesting that the Prince of Wales was going to take an apartment, Sophia Loren was going to take an apartment, and wouldn't it be wonderful to see Sophia sitting in her bathtub overlooking Central Park, and all kinds of wonderful stories. It's a 58-story building, although if you ask Mr. Trump how tall it is, it's actually 68. He skipped 10 floors in the numbering system because it's much more exciting to live on the 55th floor than it is on the 45th floor. It drove the fire department absolutely crazy because they lost 10 floors in the building that they couldn't find. This is salesmanship, and Trump knows how to do it better than anybody.
It's, as you and I were discussing, it's become the #1 attraction in New York, Trump Tower. The best hotel casino anywhere in the world. The biggest gross in the history of the gaming business. Said to be the greatest yacht in the world. The finest transportation operation anywhere in this country. The largest building privately financed ever built in the world. The biggest selling book, or one of them, of the decade. The best apartments in the world. This has really turned out to be almost mystical. It's been great.
No area of the news was immune from the Trump hype. When Gorbachev came to New York for a summit in 1988, Trump saw a chance for a PR bonanza.
The week before he arrived, all the television stations in New York said that Gorbachev was planning a visit to Trump Tower. Some of them even printed in the paper that this was going to happen. At no time was Trump Tower even tentatively scheduled.
And this is what I'm afraid of for the new America. You're going to have people talking out their ass, and the people on their side are going to be like, yeah, he's not a good businessman. Don't listen to her, y'all. If you took $1, and by the way, Trump father gave him $1 million, that's true. But how many niggas you know had $1 million and lost it? Compared to a nigga that got $1 million and now he's worth $3 or $4 billion. That gotta be some fucking credit. We gotta be, it's like, that is the problem with the world. We don't wanna give their side no credit, no matter what they did. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world.
Take us back to when you really started all of this.
Well, that was the summer of '95. I had no money whatsoever. I was working, doing research in Silicon Valley on a completely different subject and trying to start this company at the same time. And when it came time to decide, do I want to do graduate studies or do I want to start this company, and I decided to start the company, I had no money. As a graduate student, I would have received a scholarship and a stipend and so forth. In starting the company, I had nothing. I had no income source. So we found that an office was actually cheaper than an apartment in Silicon Valley. So we got this dinky little office that had a leaky roof. It was just the nastiest place you can imagine.
And you lived in it too.
And I lived in it too and showered at the YMCA. This lasted for about 3 or 4 months. And the reason we chose this office, in addition to it being really cheap, was that there was an internet service provider on the floor below. So we were able to get really cheap internet access by drilling a hole in the floor and connecting to their server directly.
You know, this industry is so young, and we don't really know where it's going. But what do you see as the future of the internet?
I think the internet is the superset of all media. It is the be-all and end-all of media. One will see print, broadcast, arguably, radio, essentially all media folding into the internet. And what the internet amounts to is it's the first two-way communication medium that is intelligent. It allows consumers to choose what they want to see, when they want to see it, and whether that be radio, whether that be print, whether that be television.
And you call him a bad businesswoman, a bad businessman, and you, like, proudly, babe, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Matter of fact, go learn business before you call somebody a bad businessman. Go try to start a company. Go try. Y'all in the room, in my line chat, it's hard as fuck to build a successful business. And you know, a big thing you gotta be in to build a successful business is you gotta be focused on nothing but the bottom line.
Donald Trump has to be one of the smartest businessmen to ever walk the face of the earth. Recently, documents was filed showing that he filed an LLC, a nonprofit LLC, to bury Ivana Trump on his golf course. He gets several tax breaks: a real estate tax break, a state tax break, a trust tax break, and several other tax breaks when you use land as a cemetery. So he possibly can write the whole entire golf course off, if not the whole entire golf course off, portions of it in light of him burying his wife in the cemetery. Genius or what?
And the bottom line is not people. The bottom line is the business, because the business feeds whoever's stuck with it. So for me, whether you agree with them morally, socially, how they move, that shit gotta stop. Elon Musk sold his company, PayPal, for $100 million in '99.
You know, ex-PayPal days, when we raised $100 million in March of 2000, and we had, the demand was so high, we had people like VCs, like just literally without even a term sheet, wiring money into our account. They literally would sleuth out our bank account number and wire money. So it was like, there was literally fire hosing money in March of 2000. And then in April 2000, the market went into free fall, and it went from raising money was trivial to even good companies could not raise money in a month. So it's just important to bear in mind, like, that, you know, PayPal almost went bankrupt in 2000. We came close, but thankfully we'd raised that $100 million in March 2000, without which we would be in game over.
How many niggas you know walk away with $100 million and go try to say, I gotta get more, and get it? Billions. And get it. Stop. If we're gonna water them down, we cannot get mad when they water us down. Trump is bad on a lot of fronts. He's not a bad businessman, because business is about attempts. Business is shots. That's all business is. It's just shot. It's shot. And it's like, if I can hit, I'll put it to you like this. You know about baseball, Alex? Okay, so baseball. So who's a great, like, let me just look up a name. Alex, do me a favor. Look up Babe Ruth, average career. Look at Babe Ruth's, matter of fact, Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's home run record.
Let's go Hank Aaron. Look up Hank Aaron's average career batting average. Just Google that for me. Tell me the number. I guarantee you it's not over 4. I guarantee you. What's the number? It's not a 4. That means 3 out of 10 attempts, this man hit the ball and got on base. And he's one of the greatest to ever do it. And you gonna tell me that because Trump had a couple failing businesses, he's a bad businessman?
Hank Aaron with the Atlanta Braves at the start of the 1974 season, he actually hit the very first week a home run and tied the record of 714 set by Babe Ruth. So before he actually broke the record, he had to hit another home run, and everybody in America was waiting. The second week of the season, Aaron hit the ball over the wall again, but it didn't count until what? Before Babe Ruth's record was beaten, he had to run and touch all 4 bases, and the cameras all watched to make absolutely sure he touched all 4 bases. So what's the message? In life, we need to touch all the bases. As a financial strategist, I teach agents that you have to help your clients touch all the bases. If you're growing your business, you have to touch all the bases.
Or because Elon is not your type of person, he's a bad businessman, you are the reason that mentality, that voice was holding black people back from being successful. That voice is the total opposite of Floyd. Floyd's voice is honestly the voice that if we took on, we would all get rich. We might not be nice to each other. We might not be like collectively together like that, but we all will get rich. This mentality that she's saying is how we all stay poor. Because they dumb businessmen. That's a fucking lie. Them niggas is geniuses. The same way Ye is a genius, the same way Puff is a genius. I could say Puff's a genius and he could be a bad nigga. Genius has nothing to do with character. Character is a one thing. Are Elon and Trump bad characters in her eyes? Probably so. Bad businessman? Remove your motherfucking biases and talk to the people for real. Stop being biased, because that's why the Democrat Party is losing so much. Because it's like, what have you built? How much money you got in the bank? What are you, come on, stop. You went after social issues. By the way, that's good. You went for the heart. He went for the head. It's just preference. But the down one for the other, I've never seen a billionaire say, she's a bad philanthropist person. They would never care about that. She's doing her best. Everybody who's trying understands all you can do is your best, and then you be okay. That's what everybody who's trying, that's what I understand. That's why I'm doing the Raydar Report. I'm trying something different. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Cool. But as a businessman, our job is to create income streams. And that means spreading it around as much as you can, and that means hitting 3 out of 10.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influenced.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
you
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment, and your men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have our military equipment,
you invited me
if you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
maybe
new.
Less.
In 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long.
And you can still be the greatest to ever do it, hitting 3 out of 10. Come on, man. Let's get to something. I'm going to walk off with my motherfucking jeans on.